Today, I'm going to show you how to make this water kimchi called Nabak Kimchi. It is one of the simplest kimchis you can make, and this is a small batch recipe so anyone can make this at home. And this broth is so yummy. It is highly addictive and it will make your soul so happy that you'll want to thank me. Now make sure to watch to the end because I'm going to show you my 2 simple ways of enjoying Nabak Kimchi. 오늘의 레시피, 맛있는 나박 김치 만들기. 오늘도 여러분들과 영어로 함께 하겠습니다. Ooh, it has a little kick. Hi everyone, this is Helen and welcome to Modern Pepper. 안녕하세요, Modern Pepper의 헬렌입니다. So first we're going to start with 1 tablespoon of 고춧가루, that's Korean red pepper flakes, coarse ground. And to this we're going to add half a cup of room temperature water. And then we're just going to let that soak while we get the rest of the ingredients ready. So we're going to go down the middle towards the back half. You never use a knife to cut the front half, okay? Because what you want to do is basically pull it apart like that. Now for our Nabak kimchi, we're only going to use the yellow part because the yellow part is super sweet. And then same thing, down the second back half and then just pull it apart. So I'm going to take one, so you should taste it. Extra sweet. So the yellow part of the pechu, the Napa cabbage, we call that al-pechu. Now for my friends that cannot get Napa cabbage because you don't live near a Korean supermarket, you could use green cabbage. Just make sure to use the yellow part of your green cabbage. Cut the root end off like so. So these short little guys, we're gonna save them to make fresh kimchi, 겉절이, and you could check out my video from last week for the recipe. And then for these guys, the exterior ones, don't throw it away. You can make Napa cabbage pancakes, and I have a recipe for that, so you could check it out. It's super crispy and juicy and really yummy. Or you could also make 된장국 using the Napa cabbage, the wilted leaves. So we're using about 525 grams of just the yellow Napa cabbage leaves. Wash it well, and then let it drain for a little bit. So we're gonna grab our cabbage. We're gonna cut them into bite-sized pieces so that you could literally put it on your spoon. Then put it in our container. So I'm using a 4.5 liter container. Now for these big wide cabbage, just cut it down the middle like so. And then cut them into bite-sized pieces. And do the rest. So we need Korean radish. If you can't get Korean radish, you could use one of those round pink red radishes. Just pick the thickest part of your radish. So 2 finger length wide right here. So about 150 grams of Korean radish. So we're gonna cut into 3 sections, turn it around, and just cut them into thin slices. The slices should be about this thickness. Small enough so it fits perfectly on your spoon. And pick it all up and then add it to our container. So we need 1 tablespoon of coarse salt, and we need 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, 멸치 액젓. And vegan friends, you could check out my vegan kimchi recipe for a vegan fish sauce recipe. And to this, we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of plum extract syrup. This is called 매실청. If you don't have this, use honey or brown sugar. Then mix this all up. The salt doesn't have to dissolve all the way. And then we're gonna pour this on our cabbage and radish. Make sure to wipe everything out from our bowl and just mix it. So this is our sort of salt brining process here. And we're not gonna rinse this. We're just gonna let this sort of marinate and hang out for a good 15 to 20 minutes. We need half of a large Korean pear. If you don't have Korean pear, you could also use any sweet pear. Half of a medium-sized white onion, about 4 to 5 garlic cloves, and a tiny small piece of fresh ginger. and 1 teaspoon of 새우젓. This is salt fermented baby shrimp called 새우젓. If you cannot get 새우젓, I have a homemade recipe for this, and just go to the recipe blog that you see right here for the recipe. Make sure to chop up the onions and the pears before you add it to the blender. And about 4 to 5 garlic cloves. And this is our fresh ginger, about less than the size of my thumb. 1 teaspoon of 새우젓. And to this, we're gonna add 1 cup of water. And then turn your blender on and puree for about good 30 to 40 seconds. So I have about 6 cups of water and 2 cups of water over here. So that's about, a little bit less than 1.9 liters of water. Using a fine mesh strainer, we're gonna add it to our bowl and add our gochugaru that was soaking in the water earlier. We're gonna pour it in here, scrape everything in, and then just stir it to remove the red color to our water bath right here. We're gonna pour our blender mixture. Make sure to scrape everything out, especially the pear and the onion. Mix this to drain out all the yummy liquid from our blended puree. Just keep on pressing through the filter to extract all the yummy flavors. So after you kind of pressed everything through the fine mesh, we're gonna pour this 2 cups of water to give it a final rinse. Again, just to make sure we extract all the yummy flavors from our blended puree. I push through as much as I can, and this is basically done. We're gonna discard this, and your liquid should look like that. And then we're gonna pour our delicious liquid into our container. Look at that, perfect amount. So you always want to leave about at least an inch of space to the rim. Just mix it around. And we need 3 scallions, and we're gonna cut them down the middle and then cut them into about an inch and a half length. This white core part, do not split it in half, because after this ferments, this starts popping, the layers start popping in your mouth, and it's so good. So we're gonna put our scallions in here. And then we have red pepper and green pepper. You could use serrano, jalapeno, or if you don't want spicy taste, then just use sweet bell peppers. Cut it down the middle. Same thing here, cut it down the middle. And using a spoon, we're gonna remove the seeds, because the seeds taste bitter, and it also makes our Nabak Kimchi look messy, in my opinion. And then we're just gonna cut them down the middle. This one is long, so I'm gonna cut them into diagonal strips and add them to our Nabak Kimchi and let it soak. And we'll come back in about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll have a taste. So let's mix this again, just to make sure the salt and the fish sauce all kind of are mixing well together in our liquid. It already smells wonderful. I'm gonna put some on my little bowl and then have a taste. Ooh, it has a little kick. Some people make this liquid extra red, so if you want to do that, double the amount of the gochugaru. Right now, this is like perfectly salty for me, and it should not taste sweet whatsoever. As it ferments, it will get sweeter in taste as the vegetables kind of mellow out and extract all their sugary juices. Oh, it's so good. Now at this point, if it's too bland tasting, add a little bit of the coarse salt, but not more of the fish sauce. Sometimes you could overdo it with the fish sauce. And for my friends who are like, oh, I don't like fish sauce because it tastes fishy, or I don't want that fishy smell. Fish sauce is never ever fishy smelling. If it is, then you shouldn't use it. Just think of it as like a super duper concentrated taste of the sea. So when you add a little bit to your food, it really enhances the flavors and the salty taste of whatever you're having. Don't be afraid to use fish sauce. So this part is optional. This is called 실고추, which is basically chili threads. And we're just gonna take a little bit and then just kind of let it get soaked in the liquid. So when you make kimchi, you should always clean the rim around your container and always leave at least 1 inch of space to the rim. And then we're gonna take some plastic saran wrap and just gently lay it on top of our liquid. It kind of is our little blanket to protect our kimchi so it's not exposed to the open air. So we'll go for night-night in here, put our lid on. Let our Nabak Kimchi rest on the kitchen counter, away from the heat, away from the sun for 24 hours. If your kitchen is super hot, then only keep it out here for 12 hours. And once it's done hanging out on your kitchen counter, put it in the fridge and enjoy it. I have one that I made, so I want to show you how it looks. This is how it looks a week in the refrigerator. Look at that. So when it comes to Nabak Kimchi, everyone gets their small serving in a bowl like that. And look at that. This is a perfect spoonful with the tangy fermented Nabak Kimchi broth that is so addictive that you could just drink the entire bowl. Bon appetit! Literally, I could put my face in it. That's how good it is. It's refreshing, light, and just, it's so yummy. So make it, don't miss out, try it. Some people like to have this right away, so you don't have to let it ferment before you eat it. And of course, the longer you ferment it, the sort of more tangier and tasty it becomes. But I just want to show you how crunchy the Napa cabbage is, and it's so sweet in my mouth. The sweetness of the cabbage with sort of this slightly subtle spicy kimchi broth. So good. The simplest way to enjoy Nabak Kimchi is I take my Korean rice and I dip it in here. I mean, it is simple, but it will hit the spot and your soul will be happy. So earlier I told you to keep the scallion as is. So you notice how the layers are popping up. This has fermented and it's gonna pop and have this wonderful scallion juice that you're going to love. So I would also have this with roasted Korean sweet potato. Look at that. I would put a piece of the Nabak Kimchi like that and have it together. I know it sounds like an odd combination, but don't knock it until you try it. Koreans, we eat this after a very heavy meal like Korean barbecue or some greasy meals. Having a bowl of this, it really helps with the digestion, and it's a really nice way to end your meal with this refreshing bowl of Nabak Kimchi. I want to thank everyone for watching today, and if you enjoyed watching today's video, I would greatly appreciate it if you would click on that thumbs up icon and subscribe if you did not subscribe yet. 여러분 오늘 재밌게 보셨으면 꼭 좋아하는 버튼 눌러주세요. 구독 버튼도 눌러주시고요. Folks, I will see you in one of the videos you see right here. 다음 비디오에서 꼭 뵙겠습니다.